Hello, today I want to share with you a very interesting story. Once upon a time, in an English village, there lived a young boy called Dick Whittington. Dick had no job, he had no money, and he had no parent. So he made a very important decision. He decided to go to London to get a job. But London was very far away from his village. Dick walked for miles and miles until he reached London. In London, he noticed that it was very different from his village. There were a lot of shops and a lot of big houses. Dick moved from big shops to big shop to look for a job. He moved from big houses to get a job. But at the end of the day, he got no job. He was exhausted. Dick luckily found the doorway of a big house. He was about to sleep when the cook of the house came out. "Young boy, you can't stay here. Go away." Immediately, the owner of the house came home. He saw what happened and he stopped the cook. This boy had nowhere to go. Let him work at the kitchen. So that's how Dick started working in the house of Mr. Fitzwarren as a help for the cook. So Dick did small jobs at the kitchen, washing the dishes, cleaning the house, cleaning the kitchen, and more. At night, Dick got a very small room up the house, but he could not sleep. Rats and mice were jumping about on his bed, so he couldn't sleep. Dick was miserable, but he remembered his initial decision, so he stayed. Right after his first payment, he thought, now I'm going to buy a cat to chase the rat and the mice away. So he looked for the best cat in London. He found one. He paid with the first pay he got from Mr. Fitzwarren. That's how that night Dick started sleeping well. Then Dick continued his job. Time was good to him. And finally, there was another big decision to make. You know what? Mr. Fitzwarren had a daughter. And Alice, the daughter, loved Dick. And Dick also loved Alice. But Dick had no money. Mr. Fitzwarren is a very big man, a very rich man. So Alice gave Dick a piece of advice. "You know, Dick, my father is a very rich man. He's a big trader. He travels far away to sell rare goods. You should give my father something to sell." But Dick said, "I have nothing." Alice said, "You have your cat." When Dick heard this, he felt miserable because that was the only thing he got that helped him sleep at night, of course. But because Dick loved Alice and trusted Alice, he said, "Okay, I'm going to do it." So the next day, Dick went to see Mr. Fitzwarren, his boss, and said, "Sir, I have the best mice and rat catcher in the whole of London. Would you sell it for me to help me make a lot of money?" So that's how Mr. Fitzwarren took the cat. And during his next trip, Mr. Fitzwarren traveled with the cat. When he arrived there, he visited a king's palace, a beautiful palace. During trade negotiation, he noticed that the palace was full of rats and mice. So he let the cat down, and the cat chased all the rats and the mice. The palace was now clean. The king was very happy. So when Mr. Fitzwarren wanted to leave, he said, okay, your cat is very good. Let me buy your cat. But Mr. Fitzwarren said, no, I can't sell it. It's not mine. They negotiated for long, but finally, the king said, okay, I'm going to give you a lot of money for the owner of the cat, and you return the cat. At that time, Dick was in London, waiting. He could not sleep well at night. He was discouraged. He was miserable. He even one night decided to go back to his village. While everybody was sleeping, Dick was trying to leave London. But at the edge, at the outskirts of London, he heard the bell ringing. Ding, ding, Whittington, Lord Mayor of London. Dick, Dick, Whittington, Lord Mayor. So Dick, while hearing the bell ringing, could hear a message. Return to Mr. Fitzwarren's house, don't go. Dick obeyed. He went back to the house. At that time, everybody was sleeping. So nobody noticed that Dick tried to leave London. So a few days later, Mr. Fitzwarren came home. Mr. Fitzwarren called Dick and said, Dick, this is your money. You're rich now. Dick was very happy, and he became, of course, rich. Some years later, Dick was nominated Lord Mayor of London. After that, Dick got married with Alice, and they lived happily ever after. Ok, j'espère que vous avez capté le message de cette histoire. 1. Vous devez prendre des décisions et agir. C'est très important, c'est difficile, mais c'est la chose à faire. Il faut prendre des décisions et agir. Dick decided to go to London. He didn't have any money, he didn't have any transportation to go. But he went there. Ça n'a pas été facile, ou bien. Number two, quand vous êtes en train de travailler pour avoir ce que vous avez, il y aura toujours des dérangements. Tout ne sera pas aisé. Mais vous devez tout faire pour mettre quelque chose dans la balance. Dick a sacrifié son chat. You understand? You get to sacrifice something. Not your body, of course. But you have to use your body to work hard. You get to use your mind. That is. And above all, you need to trust God. Parce que c'est Dieu qui a guidé Dick et que c'est devant la maison de Mr. Fitzwarren qu'il a pu trouver le premier endroit pour dormir et il a immédiatement trouvé où dormir et il a trouvé un emploi. Alright? So if you want more interesting story, contact teacher here 0166663812 or go to LDP Communication website. I hope you enjoyed this story. Good and goodbye.